Coming together is the beginning. Keeping together is progress. Working together is success. Let's draw inspiration for building our nation together from this quote by Ford Motors founder Henry Ford. I'm Audrey Williams, your host for this episode of Jamaica Magazine. Here are some of what's in store for today. Our 2013 Year in Review series continues with a look at achievements in the Ministry of Finance, Planning and the Public Service. Plus, we share some tips on workplace etiquette. There's much more, so stick around. The package kicks off after the break, starting with the news.
A healthy and educated people living in a clean, natural environment, reducing crime, improving the justice system and governance, building a prosperous economy. It's not just a vision, it's reality. Learn about the plan. Join the vision.
My country, Jamaica, has a rich heritage and is very unique. If we all pull together, we can make it the place of choice to
live, work, raise family, and to do business.
For more information on Vision 2030, call the Planning Institute of Jamaica or visit vision2030.gov.jm, your parish library, school library, or the Jamaica Information Service. Good day, I'm Stacey Ann Smith, and this is your GIS News for Wednesday, January 8. Government is in the final stages of negotiation for the third phase of the Citizen Security and Justice Program, CSJP, a community crime and violence prevention initiative. Under phase 3 of the program, $55 million will be spent in communities over the next 4 years.
We will have quite substantial amounts for to build social cohesion in communities, to increase employment and training, to deal with community justice level mechanisms, restorative justice programs, dispute resolution programs, and building the capacity of community leadership.
Minister Bunting was updating GIS News on the Unite for Change campaign, which was designed to galvanize the support of all stakeholders to promote peace and minimize crime. One organization called Children First has been playing its role in the peace-building initiative. The entity has conducted interactive sessions with children in Central Village St. Catherine to offer counseling and promote conflict resolution.
We use activities to let them express themselves. When we get the messages out, we come up with possible solutions of how they, them as children can be agents of change within their community.
The Office of the Children's Registry, OCR, will be opening a parish office in Savlamar in less than 2 weeks. The opening of the Westmoreland Parish Office is part of activities to mark the agency's 7th anniversary, which is being observed under the theme, Be the Change, Speak Out, Protect Our Children. Other activities include a church service in Kingston, a session on residential childcare facilities, the launch of new mission and vision statements, a new website and newsletter, and Pondicona reasoning sessions. In a release, Registrar at the OCR, Greg Smith, said that of the over 2,000 missing children reports received by the agency and the JCF's Missing Persons Call Center in 2013, more than 1,600 children were recovered. The OCR, which began operations in January 2007, is responsible for assessing reports of child abuse and referring them to the relevant authorities for investigation. Jamaicans, particularly athletes, are being advised to take greater care when consuming supplements. The call came from the Minister with Responsibility for Sport, Natalie Nita Headley, at Friday's launch of the Joie de Vie Wellness Festival. According to the Minister, the supplements industry is an unregulated money-making venture which is not as effective as eating well.
We implore all our athletes as well as our citizens, the coaches and the administrators and the managers of them. We are responsible for what we take into our bodies, not for what is being sold on the shelves, but for what we take into our bodies. We have ultimate responsibility.
With much emphasis being placed on economic growth, Education Minister Reverend Ronald Thwaites is adamant that the education system has to be practical and relevant to achieve the objective.
Unless we are prepared to ensure that we have a rounded workforce whose skills, whose attitudes, and whose general behavior patterns are conducive to productivity, to earned reward, and to sustainable advancement of skills, then I don't care who is our partner from whichever country or internally, we cannot succeed.
Minister Thwaites was speaking on Tuesday at a power breakfast hosted by the Council of Community Colleges of Jamaica. He said since a large portion of the expenditure budget was allocated to education, the system should reap tangible results. With 2014 being dubbed the Year of Student Achievement, Minister Thwaites is calling on the private sector and other stakeholders to participate more in the education process so that students will be equipped with the skills required to compete in a global market.
No more the turning back of the entrance to the HEART program because they haven't reached grade 9 level. Take them where they are. Connect with JFFL, the library, the community college, the extension school, wherever you can. So long as the zeal is there.
And finally, the Ministry of Education has appointed an acting principal to the Hopewell High School in Hanover, while alleged financial management breaches are investigated. Education Officer Leonie Dunwell is carrying out the task in the absence of Principal Joyce Irving, who has been placed on leave, while the school's Board of Governors probes the allegations. Portfolio Minister Reverend Ronald Thwaites has indicated support for the board's effort to resolve the matter. While saying he hopes the matter will be quickly resolved, Minister Thwaites says the ministry's Montego Bay Regional Office will continue to provide assistance to the board and management of Hopewell High. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stacey Ann Smith. Thank you for watching.
New vehicles and equipment, new police posts, new laws to bolster crime-fighting efforts.
The Law Reform Fraudulent Transactions Act was passed in Parliament on
raids and arrests are taking place primarily to do with money laundering and other financial type crimes.
Some top achievements of the Ministry of National Security as they help to improve Jamaica's safety and security. Join us tomorrow, Thursday, January 9, for the Ministry's Year in Review.
We're not going to relent.
That's the Year in Review for the Ministry of National Security, Thursday, January 9 on this station, inside Jamaica Magazine.
In 2013, efforts continued to craft solid economic policies which will influence national growth. Up next, we recap some of those policies.
Jamaica passes 2 tests from the International Monetary Fund (IMF).
Program implementation thus far has been strong.
Omnibus legislation to govern the tax reform process.
By committing to lower rates across the board and incentivizing production.
And a public sector transformation on in earnest following a wage freeze.
We have the skills in the service and we must get to work and make sure that we transform Jamaica to make it a place to do business easily.
Those were just some of the top achievements of the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Public Service as the government acted on strategic priority number 1, fiscal prudence and the pursuit of a credible economic program. It's all about reforming the economy, reducing Jamaica's debt, revving up production, and placing the country on a path to economic growth and prosperity. Having secured a 4-year extended fund facility with the IMF in May 2013, the government was on a mission to ensure it met all targets to maintain the deal worth $958 million. Subject to quarterly tests by the multilateral agency, Jamaica met all quantitative targets and structural benchmarks for both the June and the September periods.
The execution of the 2013-14 budget has been broadly on track, and more generally, overall policy implementation under the program has been strong.
The Program Monitoring Committee, co-chaired by President and CEO of Sagicor Life Richard Biles and Bank of Jamaica Governor Brian Winter, keenly monitored the IMF agreement. But the route to the IMF agreement was contingent on some prior actions: passing the Public Debt Management Bill, participation in the National Debt Exchange NDX, tax reform, and a weight restraint agreement between the government and the public sector unions. Having passed the Public Debt Management Bill in November 2012, in 2013, the government turned its attention to the NDX. It required government bondholders to exchange their old instruments for newer ones at a lower interest rate and an extended maturity date. The 99% participation in the NDX saved the country approximately $17 billion in interest payments, thereby reducing the national debt. With tax reform being a critical part of the country's economic reform program, government moved full speed ahead with the required legislation to revise the tax incentive program. On November 19, 2013, 4 pieces of legislation, including the Fiscal Incentives Miscellaneous Provisions Act and the Income Tax Relief Large-Scale Projects and the Pioneer Industries Act, were passed in the lower house of Parliament. They support a policy of granting waivers to the primary inputs to production, those things that are used to produce goods or services.
The new generalized regime will allow for uniformly reduced rates for all tax-compliant investment bodies and corporate entities and individuals involved in productive activity. This should also serve to enhance the competitiveness of the overall economy.
The House of Representatives also passed the Charities Act in October, which would regulate all charitable organizations operating in the country. Containing public expenditure was also a major goal of the government in the year that was. Critical to that objective was an agreement with a number of trade unions to provide public sector workers with several benefits in lieu of salary increases between April 2012 and March 2015. Other interventions continued to push public sector transformation.
To transform the public sector, you have to transform it to make it more responsive to the service that it gives to the public and to make Jamaica competitive.
Part of that involved Jamaica Customs being changed to an executive agency so that it could effectively carry out its operations. And on the issue of pension reform, Parliament started the debate on the Pension Superannuation Funds and Retirement Schemes Validation and Amendment Act. Pension reform, which involves public sector workers contributing to their pensions, should be implemented by April 2016. No new taxes were announced by the Finance Minister when he opened the budget debate on April 18. So as part of the fiscal responsibility regime, the goal was to encourage tax compliance.
It will involve legislative changes and greater powers for the tax authorities to go after the taxes due and secure it from the persons from whom those taxes are due.
And that promise was fulfilled. The Revenue Administration Amendment Act was passed to promote compliance in all sectors of the economy through increased access to information. Government also completed the rollout of a central treasury management system ahead of schedule. 30 sites were identified to be incorporated into the system, which resulted in substantial savings to the consolidated fund.
All those sites are now online, and the government of Jamaica is not holding those balances any longer in the private financial institutions and borrowing the money at great cost to us.
With the key components of the government's economic reform program in full swing, the Jamaican economy is projected to record 1% growth for the October to December quarter. This followed a similar expansion in the previous quarter, which, coupled with an excellent performance under the IMF agreement, positioned the country to receive some $300 million from the World Bank and Inter-American Development Bank (IDB) by March 2014. And in September, Jamaica received a $951 million grant from the European Union (EU) for direct budgetary support.
These additional funds will be very helpful in tackling, because these are the funds that have not been tied to anything, will definitely help the government to tackle its priorities.
Jamaica also received $2.6 billion in grant funding from the EU to improve services in the health sector. As the government focused on being financially responsible in the year 2013, it was convinced that privatizing key state entities would improve public service and make the state more financially secure. The Development Bank of Jamaica DBJ announced in September that Wallingford Coffee Company was sold to AIC International Investments Limited in a deal worth about $4 billion. 3 entities were also shortlisted for the divestment of the Kingston Container Terminal, DP World, PSA International, and the Terminal Link Consortium. Enterprise teams were also shortlisted for the Norman Manley Airport, the Jamaica Railway Corporation, and Caymanas Track Limited. Expanding the micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises (MSMEs) was just as important to the growth of the economy. $2 billion was allocated to the DBJ to lend to businesses in the sector. Up to June 2013, $1.3 billion was disbursed. The DBJ also announced plans to launch a venture capital fund within the first half of the next fiscal year, which begins April 1, 2014. The Jamaica Venture Capital Program, being implemented in collaboration with the IDB, will help develop equity financing to provide funding options for MSMEs.
What we want to do is to encourage businesses to get into the investment.
Larger investment projects like the North-South Highway, the Logistics Hub Initiative, diversification of tourism markets, and the Agro-Parks project are also critical elements underpinning the government's growth agenda. Fiscal prudence and pursuit of a credible economic program, strategic priority 1 for the government. Under the supervision of the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Public Service, the government was financially responsible in the year 2013 while embarking on a realistic program to grow the economy.
Among the goals that persons commit to in a new year is to perform better in the workplace. But it's not all about just doing well at the tasks you are assigned. The next feature shares some food for thought as it regards workplace etiquette.
Mastering workplace communication, even for communications officers, can be a challenge, and the right thing to say often comes down to who says it, how it's said, to whom it's said, and when it's said. But a trip online recently uncovered some interesting tips on a few office discussion no-nos that are at least worth considering.
I can't take on any more work right now. I'm completely overwhelmed.
Now, it could be true and you are overwhelmed, but here's another truth. Companies want problem solvers, not people who cry defeat at the assignment of every new task. So try saying something like, "Let's look at my project list and see where we can work this in." It might mean moving something else to a later date. Remember, in a world of economic restraint and corporate downsizing, multitasking must be in your skills basket.
Oh, yeah. Listen, Joe is an idiot.
Substitute the name and you could probably find a few people who fit this phrase. Just don't say it in the office. Why not? Well, it's rude. That person could be your boss someday, and statements like those don't build trust and can prove disruptive to the office environment.
Boss, what you say? That's not fair.
So, what's not fair? The person sitting across from you earns more to do the same job? Well, maybe they do it better than you. Life's not fair. Employment's not fair. Get over it and get moving. Upgrade yourself, know and demand your worth, and don't begrudge others for doing what you didn't have the skills, work ethic, foresight, or just good luck to achieve.
You sure that's the best way? That's not how we used to do it at my old company, and we always got it right.
So why aren't you still there? That's what your colleagues are likely to ask once you utter a statement like this. It smacks of arrogance and a refusal to try or learn new things.
The report, I'll have it on your desk by 3 p.m. Yeah, 3 p.m. today.
If you don't plan to do it, Don't say it. That little untruth could delay or frustrate someone else's work plan or your company's production output. Of course, when you do seriously plan and miss a deadline anyway, give as much advance notice as possible.
I'm bored.
Likely responses: anger from your overworked colleague, disdain from the one who thinks you're a slacker, and well, your boss is likely to question why you're getting a paycheck this month. Next time your work pile looks thin, be innovative and find new projects to pursue. It could be the stuff of promotions and bonuses.
Motorists, know your rights as road users. If you're stopped by the police in a road check, the police have the right to ask for your driver's license and vehicle documents. If you don't have the documents on you, you can ask for 5 days to provide them at a convenient police station. If you don't have vehicle insurance, you can be prosecuted and face the court. If you fail to renew the registration license, the police are entitled to seize your vehicle. If the police wish to search your vehicle, they should tell you the reasonable grounds for wanting the search. If you are given a ticket, sign it only if you plan to pay the fine and not contest the charge in court. And please be reminded, children under 18 years must wear a seatbelt, even if they are seated in the back. Know your rights. Knowledge of the traffic road code makes it easier to work with the police as they do their job to make the roads safer for you and everyone else. Next week will be observed as Earthquake Awareness Week, and all week long, we'll be reminded about the importance of being prepared for an earthquake. The last major quake to hit the island was in January 1907. It was catastrophic. Unlike some other natural disasters, it is nearly impossible to predict an earthquake. Our best defense, therefore, is preparation. Make sure you know what to do if an earthquake should strike. Build structures that have the best chance of standing up to the Earth's movements. Take first aid lessons so you know how to help those who might be injured. And develop a recovery plan just in case you experience property damage or personal loss. Be resilient and proactive, qualities you all need to help build our country and make it the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business.
Nutritious food, succulent dishes, superior workmanship, and excellent service. Jamaica is on the go. Let's grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Let's harness the indomitable spirit of our most valued resource, our people. Let's support our local businesses. After all, buying Jamaican means building Jamaica.
2014 could be your year to break out. That talent you've been sitting on could earn you cash and prizes, as well as national and perhaps even international recognition. The Jamaica Cultural Development Commission, JCDC, wants to help you make that happen through its annual Festival of the Arts competition. Entries are open now. Here's more.
Look here, woman. I want to make it so hard for you understand English.
We've been at this job for 50 years now, so we will soon be announcing and sharing with the nation all of our plans and how we would continue to grow and modernize as an institution and continue to be relevant to arts and cultural development in Jamaica.
To support its mandate to unearth, develop, showcase, and preserve Jamaica's cultural expressions, the Commission coordinates a number of activities each year to help citizens develop their creative talent, including its flagship National Festival of the Arts competition.
The JCDC has learned over the years that one of the best ways to engage Jamaican talent and to train them even is through competitions. It's through competitions that they share with each other, that they interact with expert adjudicators, and also get to learn and to see and to be exposed in so many ways.
Participation in competitions in dance, drama, speech, music, and the visual and culinary arts is open to Jamaican citizens at home and in the diaspora. So if you're interested in submitting pieces for entry, guidelines and registration forms are available on the website jcdc.gov.jm.
When me run go look at 12 o'clock at night, that time no dog no bark.
It's a deliberate way to try and preserve Gere, Kumina, Eto, Quadrille, Brookings. I mean, you won't find anybody really getting up and deliberately having a Brookings party anymore. So this is really one way in which we preserve that. So I'm inviting all of Jamaica to come and try out. It's the oldest and most premier competition in the region for arts development. Go out and get the information to see how you can become a part of a great legacy, how you can become a part of a great competition and an experience that would last a lifetime. Apart from our competitions, we also do run a regular series of workshops which are part of our training mandate, where we actually get and target community groups, school groups, church groups, anybody really, and train them in the arts, in cooking, in visual arts. And we actually have, at this time of the year, we're really focused on a bit of training workshops. We're rolling out with our workshops in the arts right across the island.
The workshops are free of cost to all, so feel free to visit the website or contact the head office at 3 to 5 Phoenix Avenue, Kingston 10, telephone 926-57269 or 906-4252-3. You can also visit the JCDC's gift shop for the perfect keepsake for special occasions. So if you're looking for the chance to learn about Jamaica's rich culture, refine or showcase your artistic skills, or some good old Jamaican entertainment, then the JCDC is the place to contact.
New vehicles and equipment, new police posts, new laws to bolster crime-fighting efforts.
The Law Reform Fraudulent Transactions Act was passed in Parliament on...
Raids and arrests are taking place primarily to do with money laundering and other financial type crimes.
Some top achievements of the Ministry of National Security as they help to improve Jamaica's safety and security. Join us tomorrow, Thursday, January 9, for the Ministry's Year in Review.
We're not going to relent.
That's the Year in Review for the Ministry of National Security, Thursday, January 9 on this station, inside Jamaica Magazine.
Jamaica Magazine comes to an end, but only for today. We'll roll out another in the series, same time tomorrow. You can share your thoughts by sending an email to jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm or dropping a message on our Twitter page @JIS News. If you missed this or other programs, check out our YouTube page to catch up. And don't forget that our website is filled with useful information. On behalf of the JIS family, have a wonderful evening.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.